Oil at the back of your engine, oil surrounding your injectors, oily smell in your vehicle, and even smoke coming from your engine bay. All of these are symptoms of a faulty rocker cover gasket or valve cover gasket. And this is the topic of this video. We are going to address the steps and the tools needed to be able to do this type of repair by yourself, and hopefully give you the insight that you need to actually perform the work. First thing first, we do our homework and we get the parts and tools needed. We will need the gasket, we will need copper washers for the injectors, we will need new O-rings. Now, on the topic of injectors, we will need an injector extractor tool, be it really small or really big. We will need an injector cleaner kit, which is this little baby. We will need an injector seat cutting tool, which is this little gem, and we will more than likely need an injector socket, 19 millimeters, something to allow us to undo the bolts when working on the injectors. Now, on my list, we will have a flat head long screwdriver. We will need some special chemicals. We will need a lubricant paste that is able to withstand high temperatures, be it Febi, be it Texstar CERATEC. We will need lubricant spray, GT85 or WD-40. We will need brake cleaner. We will need sanding paper, 300, 1000 and 1500 grit. We will need paper masking tape. We will need towels and rags, petrol or diesel for cleaning, wire brushes for a drill, a torque wrench capable of achieving 10, 24 and 26 Newton meters, dental picks, a soldering iron that is modified to cut plastic, that is an optional. An air compressor or a vacuum might also be quite useful in performing this job. We have some of the essential parts. Now let's take a look at the steps. Because that is connected to something underneath, we are going to go after this one, which is a 19, and get rid of that cable. By using the impact, the support was not bent and we were able to undo the nut. This repair in itself requires quite a lot of disassembly, and you will see it in the supporting video, the amount of things that have been removed. When doing the work, take your time, avoid damaging other things. These are the important bits. The more you prepare the work and the more things you remove and ensure you have adequate space to work, the easier it will be for you to actually do the gasket change. It also has it there and there. Ta-da! And now we can take out these babies. The majority of the wiring harness for the engine bay will be removed. All the sensors, all the other stuff surrounding our rocker cover will have to go. And that to allow this to slide nicely to one of the sides. To completely be able to undo this, we have that little wire that goes inside to a ground, if you're able to see it. So underneath there, the little one is going to a ground. We will see if we actually want to remove that or not. Massive rope. We might need to leave that one because it is locked in that. The nasty EGR coupler. This needs to be fully disengaged, and there is another security. One more to go. Oh no. No. So, because I'll be limited with the space available to torque the bolts at the back, I'm exploring now the idea of removing all the plastic covers and these bits to see if there is any benefit and any gain in access to the back part of the engine. Also, I'm curious to see how the things are connected and how I'm able to take them apart. So wipers off, and after that all the plastics, and we see if we have more access to the back part. It has a few more bolts. This, that, T30. Now we have proper access to the back part of the engine, and we will be able to undo the bolts, tighten them up, torque them, do whatever we need without too much hassle. With our magical 19mm special socket, we are removing the high pressure fuel lines. We will be removing the common rail, and after that we will be removing each injector. When removing the injectors, we will make sure that we have marked them in the correct order, and we ensure that no dirt, debris or other things are getting inside. Injectors are quite delicate creatures and we don't want to have an expensive bill at the end of the day. Finally, one that looks like a proper injector. After the injectors have been removed, it might be a very good point in time for us to clean the surfaces where the injectors were seated. So we are going to use these types of tools to ensure that those surfaces are in the best condition possible. And also we might be using these tools at the same time. Later, when we will be fitting the new gaskets, if we are to clean those surfaces, we might damage our new gaskets when doing the cleaning. Four, two, one. perfect way of cleaning this seating surface to ensure that the washer is making contact and sealing properly. We are using any sort of plastic card sanding paper. I'm using P300 right now and gently preparing the surface. We will be applying a little bit of CERATEC grease, especially on the gaskets. "26. Small little washer over, small little washer gasket again. Before attempting to start your engine, we will need to ensure that the fuel system has been bled. Personally, I'm using the Launch X431 with the special function of fuel bleeding, and I'm not using it once, but I'm using it twice to ensure that I have the best chances of starting the engine. Once this bleeding process has been finished, I was able to start the engine quite fast without too much hassle and without too much cranking. Some of the lessons learned when performing this repair that I would like to share with you guys are these tabs that are sealing our injector spaces. They were a little bit loose, so I would upgrade this toolbox by putting these ones on a flat surface and spraying some clear coat so that I have a tighter fit. Keep in mind that I've done this repair on a budget, so the tools and accessories bought haven't been the most expensive out of all the accessories possible. By the way, links will be in the description to the tools that I have used. You need to make sure that you have more than 20 liters in your fuel tank. Otherwise, the fuel bleeding part of the diagnostic process is not able to be done. So before attempting this, ensure that you have at least half a tank of fuel. The GT85 or any lubricant spray sprayed on the plastic return couplers works magic. So if I'm doing it without the lubricant spray, those couplers are really hard to open once you spray them a little bit. They are much friendlier. Same thing goes for any clip, any plastic trim. I used the GT85 and it worked miracles. This socket, although able to do the job, I've noticed that from time to time it was flexing. So if I would have to buy it one more time, I don't know if I would buy this one. I think that I would be tempted of going for the US Pro. Although more expensive and although in a set, they might be a little bit better quality. On the injector extractor side of the things, I went for a big socket set, which works and doesn't work. The idea behind it is that socket set would work if I'm able to use the long extraction bar, but because of the way that the bonnet on the BMW sits, you might be better off using one of the small Amazon injector extractor tools. And should that one fail, only at that point you get the big massive tool set that I'm using to allow you to do the extraction. One of the other things that you might want to consider on the seating tool, some of them are not machined to perfection, and you will see that this central shaft is not perfectly centered, especially after you tighten in this bolt. So be mindful when you are actually working the surface, be mindful for this to be flat with the surface that you are machining. Now I hope that this video was useful and gave you some insight on how to perform this type of work on your vehicle. If you would want to support our channel, consider using the super thanks function on YouTube. Alternatively, consider joining us on Patreon, a place where you can ask questions directly, where you can see additional content, a place where you can shape future videos to come to the channel. Now, thank you for watching and hopefully I'm going to see you in the next video.